Happy full moon. As I was walking home last night, I had a gorgeous view of the moon, and there was a beautiful ring around the moon. Huge, gorgeous, very cold white. So anywho, when that happened, there had been some half-baked thoughts in my head about the moon and full moon that have been kind of kept coming up over the past couple months. So I just wanted to share it, and it's related to the moon card, which is a card of illusions, something sort of hidden and not, it's like you don't see things super clearly with the moon card, right? And you can see on the card there's a sun and then a moon sort of imposed over the sun, or superimposed over the sun. And, the dogs here, the dog and the coyote, it's like, my interpretation is they think the moon is shining, and so they're howling at it, right? They don't actually know if the moon is shining or not, or if it's really the moon or if it's the sun, but they think it is, so they just go crazy. And the moon is really interesting because it has no light of its own, but it reflects the light of the sun. And the Cancer, which the full moon was in Cancer, Cancer is ruled by the moon, and Cancer is also the sign of like the mother. Like Cancers are supposed to be very nurturing, very caring. And it's almost as if the moon is making sure that we don't forget that the sun exists. And so its job is to shine the sun's light on us through the night, which is kind of comforting in a way. But at the same time, we see the light of the moon at night, but really it's sunlight, even though we don't see the sun. And so it's an illusion, right? Like the light of the moon is really the light of the sun. And I know that we all know that. But I found it interesting when I learned a little bit about feng shui from Marie Diamond, who, if you don't know who she is, look her up. She's great. She talks about how if you're going to charge your crystals in feng shui practices, they charge them in sunlight. They don't charge them in moonlight because they recognize that they're charging their crystals with light. And so in their mind, it's like they're not, they don't really get why you would wait until once or twice a month to get reflected sunlight to charge your crystals when you could charge your crystals during the day. And I just think that's so interesting how sometimes we buy into illusions, I wonder, I'm very interested to see why the practice of charging your crystals by moonlight came about. Maybe it's like an energetic time, and the moon does affect us, right? The tides and everything. But it's funny because the moon is really just reflecting what the sun is doing, and it's sort of representing the way the moon, the sun, and the earth, our planetary alignments, take shape. It's just reflecting that. It's really not, it doesn't have an emanation of light on its own. So I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but it really does help me. It really does help inform my readings whenever the moon card comes up. And my moon is in Cancer, my Mars is in Cancer. So this full moon really just like walloped me over the head energetically. But yeah, I just find it so interesting that the moon is just a mirror, essentially. And it can, I feel like if the moon card comes up, sometimes it can represent aspects of yourself. Like if it's a mirror, you can see things that you might not want to see, things that you normally keep hidden. So yeah. Anywho, these are just moon ramblings. I hope everyone had a great full moon, and I'll see you around.